Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to learn a very important chapter, and that is none other than chapter 15, drug proving. So let's see what H.A.Robert has got to tell us about drug proving. And before that, please make sure that you have subscribed to my channel. If not, please do subscribe and put on the notification bell such a way that whenever I post videos, you will get the notification. So let's go. So drug proving. Drug proving is a systematic testing of substances to understand their effects on a healthy human being. So yes, why we are doing drug proving? Why we are proving the drugs? So that we will be able to understand how that medicine works. For what conditions does that medicine work? So if we are having a medicine and when we prove that medicine shows the symptoms of headache, then we will be able to understand, okay, if I give that medicine, then I can give it for the treatment of headache, and we will note it down. So to understand the effect of a drug on a healthy human being, we are proving the drugs. And this forms the foundation of homeopathy. So without understanding the effect of a drug on a healthy person, then we cannot understand, or we will not be able to give the medicine to a sick person. So drug proving is very crucial for homeopathy. Before Hahnemann, medicine was based on superstitions, like one notable example being the doctrine of signatures, the belief that plants resembling a body part could treat ailments of that part. For example, look at this picture. It shows walnut with its shell. So it says that walnut can be given for boosting memory because it resembles brain and our skull. So it's very good for our brain. Though it is said as superstitious, we know that it has some power, isn't it? We know that Chelidonium majus, it will be good for liver because it's yellow in color. Likewise, there are many examples, and though it is said as superstitious, there should be some scientific basis, isn't it? So, however, these approaches were not scientifically structured. So, what did Hahnemann do? Hahnemann changed this by introducing drug proving as a scientific method to understand how medicines work. So he insisted that to apply the law of similars, one must first know precisely what effects a drug produces in a healthy person. So to understand those effects only, drug proving came into action. So what is a drug? So we know what is drug proving. Okay, then what is a drug? To answer this, we must first understand what life is. Life is the balance of forces within the body that maintains health. If this balance is disturbed, disease occurs. So what we know, life, it's a balance. Everything is harmonious in nature, as we say. But what is a drug? A drug is any substance that disrupts this balance. Don't get mind blown, but yes, it surely does. A drug is any substance that disrupts this balance, causing an abnormal state in the body. So what does it mean? Does it mean that when I take drugs, it will disrupt my peace of mind? It disrupts the harmonious nature? Yes, it surely does. That's why it's always advised to take medicines only under the supervision of a physician. Because a physician knows that how much quantity of drug should be given, what drug should be given. Because otherwise, if it is not under the supervision of a physician, then we will consume in excess, and that excess can cause us harm. It will be fatal for us. But because a physician knows what quantity, what potency, what dose, when should we repeat, because the physician is skilled in that. That's why whoever is sick, always consult a doctor because he is skilled in that. Because drugs, as we know, it only does harm if it's not under the supervision of a physician or anyone who know about drugs. So what is the difference between drugs and food? Food nourishes and sustains life. It is constructive in nature. It will only give good unless we are allergic to it, okay? And drugs disturb the normal state and cause harm. So it is destructive. So thus drugs must be used carefully to bring about the healing without unnecessary damage. So even though drug is causing a destructive state, it is having some power initially. And that power, that healing power, only should be used. Otherwise, if we are not using it carefully, it can cause unnecessary damage. That's why we should understand and study materia medica very clearly and understand the dose and potency so that we will not harm our patients. So keep a note in that. The purpose of drug proving. The aim of proving a drug is to understand what kind of disturbances it creates in the body. So that's why when we give a medicine to a person, symptoms are produced. So we will say, I don't know, but when I take homeopathic medicine, when I am all right, when I am not sick, I get symptoms. Because why? Because drugs will cause harm. So the aim of proving a drug is to understand what kind of disturbances it creates in the body. So which medicine shows which effect. By carefully observing which organs and functions are affected and in what manner, we can later apply the drug to treat similar disturbances in disease states. To ensure accuracy, drug proving must follow 3 essential conditions. That's why we are saying that when you prove drugs, you should be very careful. If you are proving the drugs without any knowledge of the drug or disease or anything, then it can cause harm. So when you are proving a drug, you should be very precautious. Condition number 1, purity of the drug. Condition number 2, the prover must be healthy. Condition number 3, normal surroundings for the prover. So what is the condition number 1? Purity of the drug. The drug must be pure and free from contamination. And it must contain all its active properties to produce reliable effects. So what we are doing, we are studying the drugs, and for that drug should be pure in nature. If we are having any contaminated drugs, then what will happen? Because of that contamination, some symptoms will be produced. So it will, all around, it will not be any use. So purity of a drug is very crucial. Second point, the prover must be healthy. So if we are giving a medicine, if you are proving a drug on a sick person, already is having symptoms, and again if you are giving medicine, we will not know what symptom is our medicines or our drugs. That's why the prover must be healthy. The person testing the drug should be in a normal, balanced state of health. This ensures that any symptoms that arise are due to the drug and not pre-existing conditions. Condition number 3, normal surroundings for the prover. So we have pure drug, we have healthy prover. Now what? Normal surroundings for the prover. The prover must continue their usual daily activities. Any changes in symptoms should be due to the drug and not lifestyle changes. For example, consider you are the prover. Until now you don't go to gym, you will not take a bath 2 times or anything like that. But after taking the medicine, you will think, okay, from today onwards, I will go to gym. I will take 2 times bath, or I will do that. I will do this. Like for example. But you shouldn't change like that. Whatever you have been following before taking that medicine, that you should follow. If you are not going to gym, then don't go to gym after taking the medicine. So, who makes a good prover? Not everyone reacts to a drug in the same way. So choosing the right prover is crucial. Ideal prover characteristics. Susceptibility. People who are sensitive to certain drugs develop the most distinct symptoms. Yes. Intelligence and perception. The prover must recognize and describe even subtle bodily changes. Honesty. They must record symptoms accurately without exaggeration or omission. Fourth, balanced mental and physical health. People with emotional or physical instability may give unreliable results. So who makes ideal prover? When you say about characteristics, don't forget to mention these 4 points. Even less susceptible provers can help verify the symptoms found in highly sensitive individuals. This can be asked for 2 marks. Food idiosyncrasy. Some people react strongly to certain foods. For example, an allergy to peanuts. For such individuals, that food acts like a drug on the system. Before we said food is nourishing, food is constructive, but here the food itself will cause a destructive because food acts like a drug. These people can serve as an excellent provers for substance that contains similar properties. So if the person is allergic to peanuts, then peanut related medicines can be given to that person to understand, because sudden symptoms will be shown. But that's actually should be very cautious because it can also lead to fatal condition. Again, importance of objectivity in drug proving. Proving is based on facts, not personal opinions. Provers should neither doubt nor over exaggerate the symptoms, because it will be really bad, isn't it? If the prover is just over exaggerating, we will not get the right symptoms. Then every symptom must be documented carefully to be reproduced in other prover. So just one prover is not sufficient. We want to understand the drugs very deeply. So many provers are really important. So we should document it very carefully. The ultimate goal of drug proving. The entire purpose of drug proving is to clearly define a drug's action on the human body. That's where we are doing drug proving, isn't it? We should know the action of the drug. Then, to differentiate one drug's effect from another. For example, the effect of drug called pulsatilla is different from the effect of drug in nux vomica, isn't it? So we should differentiate. Then, to ensure proper selection of the right remedy for treating diseases based on the law of similars. So we will understand what that person is affected, what remedy should I give, what will be the similimum. Similimum means the right remedy for that patient, isn't it? So now all these things are done. Again, how symptoms should be recorded during a drug proving, how to analyze them, how to select the appropriate potency for a proving. So you have already told, okay, you shouldn't give a drug. When you give, only healing effect should be done, otherwise it can cause harm. So for that we should understand the potency, isn't it? All those things. So how? And next, H.A.Roberts explains the following. Recording symptoms in drug proving. When conducting a proving, all symptoms must be recorded, but we must focus on those that are 2 points are there. First one is peculiar and characteristic symptoms. Second one is common symptoms. So what is peculiar and characteristic symptoms? These are the unique to the drug and help differentiate it from others. So if their uniqueness, that symptom, only that drug will show that symptom. That's why it's called as peculiar and characteristics. Then common symptoms. These are shared by many drugs and are not as important in remedy selection. So this common symptoms, because it's common, so even if it is there, it's of no use, but still it is important for us because we are homeopaths. So even peculiar symptoms or common symptoms, everything is important for us, because then only we be able to take the totality of symptoms and the full picture of the patient. So points to note when recording symptoms. So what all things you should note? Every symptom should be recorded without bias. Even seemingly irrelevant symptoms might be important later. So right now it will be not important, but later it will be important. So you should note down everything. A detailed record of the order of appearance of symptom is essential. Symptoms must be analyzed based on location, sensation, modalities and concomitants. Location means where the symptom appears in the body. So when you take a case, you already know how to take a case, right? So when you take a case, first you will be asking the location, where does the symptom appears in the body. And sensation, the type of feeling it produces. So for example, pain, they will be saying I am having burning pain, I am having stitching pain. So all those kinds of pain. The modalities, what makes the symptom better or worse. The pain aggravates on heat, cold, like that. Then concomitants are the symptoms occurring simultaneously even if seemingly unrelated. I am having right arm pain, but when I have that I feel to vomit. So it's unrelated. So all those things comes under concomitants. Once all symptoms are recorded, they must be compared with other drug provings to establish their importance. Now, how to conduct a drug proving? After setting the rules for recording symptoms, Robert explains how to select the dose and potency of a drug for proving. Oh, finally they're saying what we should select, how to select the dose and potency. The drug might be used in crude form or either in crude or high potency. Crude form means raw material, mother tinctures, low potency. So all these three comes under crude form. High potency means potentized form, diluted and succus multiple times. So that comes under high potency. So what all comes under crude potency? Crude form, raw material, mother tincture, low potency. High potency means potentized form, diluted and succused multiple times. So how do we decide which potency to use? So we know two types of potency, crude and high potency. Now, how should we decide which potency? These are the rules for potency selection as said by H.A.Robert. Drugs that are inert, that is mild in natural form, need high potency to reveal symptoms. For example, lycopodium, carboveg, graphitis, all these drugs are inert. They are mild in natural form. So they don't cause any harm. So that's why we are taking high potency. So if a drug is in its natural state, affects vital energy very little, it must be proven in high potency, because if we are giving low dosage of this lycopodium, it will not act as much as we think. That's why we are giving high potency. Now, second rule, drugs that strongly affect the body in crude form can be proven in crude form. So lobelia, ipecacuanha, cicuta, tabacum, they will strongly affect the body even if it is given in low potency or crude form. So we should never give them in high potency because it can cause a mess. So we should give them only in low potency. If a drug in its natural state disturbs the vital energy only functionally without causing destruction, so it shouldn't cause any destruction. Okay, it may be proven crude form. If we give in high potency, what will happen? It will cause destruction. That's why we are giving in low potency. Then third one, drugs that are poisonous in their crude state should only be given in high potency. So if the drugs are in poisonous, then we should definitely give in high potency, because in low potency, if we are giving mother tinctures and all, think of it, it's poison. Just example like merxol, mercurius corrosivus, all those mercurius group, or just keep all those things aside and think of lachesis, snake poison. If you're giving mother tincture like snake poison directly, that person will die, isn't it? That poison is still present. That's why we should give high potency, because in high potency all that poison is removed, because we are diluting it, we are succusing it, we are potentizing it. So that's why we will always give in high potency in poisonous. That's why when we study materia medica, we should understand from what part it's used, what source of medicine it is. Then only we will be understand whether it is inert medicine, whether it is poisonous medicine, or whether it has any effect or additional effect on the body. So what is the rule? If a drug in its natural state causes destructive effects, it should be proven only in a potentized form. So when you study materia medica, study from the beginning like that, so that we will be able to understand the medicine and know the potencies too. Now let's shortcut. Okay, 3 rules are there, but how will I remember all those things? Just remember the shortcut. If it is mild drugs, like mild in nature, go high. Use high potency to see their true power. They are mild, then go high. Second, strong but safe. Use crude. So they are strong action, but they will give no damage. Then crude form is enough. If it is poisonous drugs, go high. If it is poisonous drugs, then you should go high, because it is dangerous in crude. Only prove in potentized form. So there are 2 go highs. One is mild drugs, because it doesn't show any effective given in low potency. That's why we are giving go high. And second one is poisonous drugs. So that also you know the reason, right? That's go high. Only this one is different. Use crude, because strong but safe. So this is a shortcut. You can screenshot this. And next, why is this important? Mild substance won't produce symptoms unless dynamized. So if first point, it shows mild symptoms, it will not produce any symptoms unless we are dynamizing it, unless we are potentizing it. Then corrosive poisons cause immediate tissue damage, preventing the body from showing characteristic symptoms. We cannot give sulfuric acid, we cannot give hydrochloric acid in crude form, isn't it? Because it is corrosive in nature. We cannot give lachesis because it is really poisonous. So that's why we are giving high potency. Instead, they should be potentized to reveal deeper and functional effect on the vital force. So now we understand the potency. Now let's understand drug action on the vital energy. Robert emphasizes that proving should aim to bring out the characteristic symptoms of a drug as they appear in disease states. So if we use a crude inert substance, it won't penetrate the vital force and no proving will occur. If we use a strong poison in crude form, it will cause violent reaction but not show the finer characteristic symptom of the drug. Thus, for successful proving, we must match the potency to the nature of the drug to ensure it reaches the vital energy and produces symptoms that are useful for homeopathic prescribing. That's why the reason why when we use crude in our substance, we will use high potency, because it won't penetrate the vital force and there will be no proving. So it's of no use. And when we use a strong poison, and that too if you're giving in crude form or low potency, it will cause violent reaction, and that's really bad, isn't it? So these are the reasons, because the drug action of vital energy is very important, because our system is really based on the immunity or the reaction of the vital force on our medicine. So the key points in drug proving. First one is recording symptoms. All symptoms must be recorded without any bias. Focus on peculiar, rare and characteristic symptoms rather than common ones. And after recording, compare the symptoms with other drug provings. Second one is analyzing symptoms. Each symptom must be analyzed based on, yes, correct, location, sensation, modification of modalities and concomitants. Location means where is the symptom felt. Sensation means how does it felt, sharp, dull, stinging, burning, etc. Modalities means what makes it better or worse, aggravation and amelioration. Then fourth one is concomitant symptoms, other symptoms appearing simultaneously. Third one is choosing the right potency, because it's very important when we give drugs. The potency depends on the drug's natural effect on the body. Inert substance like lycopodium, carbo, veg, graphite should be given in high potency to bring out the symptoms. Functional disturbance drugs like lobelia, ipecac, tabacum can be proven in crude form. Destructive poisons like mercurius, arsenicum or even lacuses should be proven in potentized form. So what is a rule of thumb? If a drug has a mild natural effect, use a high potency to extract symptoms, and if a drug strongly disturbs the body, use a low potency of crude form. So when they ask for 2 marks, like what is a rule of thumb, that said, you should say these 2 points. Okay, again, dose and susceptibility. Highly susceptible individuals require smaller doses and less susceptible individuals may need larger doses. A gradual introduction of the drug ensures a complete proving. The golden rule for dose repetition. So now we know potency. Again, repetition of dose. Never repeat a dose while symptoms are still manifesting. It's a golden rule. Never ever repeat a dose while symptoms are still manifesting. You should just wait. That's why in homeopathy, sometimes the doctor will say, just wait for a while, let the symptoms come, or just wait for a while, let the symptoms go, because this is the golden rule for dose repetition. Drugs like silesia and lycopodium act slowly, require long intervals between doses. Fast acting drugs need short intervals. So that's why when we study, we should also study the duration of the medicine too, so that we'll be understand the dose repetition. Importance of symptom order. Symptoms appear in sequences. Recording the order is essential. The latter symptoms are more characteristics of the drug. Excessive repetition of the dose disrupts this sequence. That's why we should be patient enough to treat the sick. Key observations improving. Time of symptom aggravation and amelioration. Effect of position, that is standing, sitting, lying down. Motion and rest influence. Effect of eating, drinking or emotions. Environmental influences like weather, temperature, company, isolation. So all these things should be observed, should be asked by us to the person who is taking that medicine. Okay. Then value of all the province. So we are documenting all those things. So if we get new documents, should we just discard the old? No, it's also valuable. All the province like Hahnemann's time were detailed and thorough, making them reliable. Even a single proven symptom can be crucial. For example, Calicap's 3 a.m. cough is really crucial, isn't it? Because we gave that medicine to that Sandosh or that Ramu, whoever. Because of him, he said, oh, I'm having 3 a.m. cough. So because of that person, we got that symptom. So every single proven symptom can be crucial. Objective symptoms, observable changes are less useful compared to subjective symptoms. So this video deals about drug proving. Let's see the summary of drug proving in homeopathy. What is the purpose? Drug proving tests a substance on healthy individual to record its effects, helping in selecting remedies for patient based on like yours like. Recording symptoms, not location, sensation, modalities and concomitants. Record symptoms in order of appearance because later symptoms are more characteristics. Never ignore rare or unique symptoms even if recorded by one prover. That Sandosh or that Ramu is very important, okay? Dose and susceptibility. Higher susceptibility, smaller dose to avoid overwhelming symptoms. So this is how dose is selected, isn't it? We know how and where we should give the potency. Now dose. Lower susceptibility, large dose for proper symptom development. And never repeat a dose while symptom persists, the golden rule. Potency selection. Weak natural effect drugs like lycopodium carbamate go high potency. Functional disturbance drugs like lobelia and tabacum, crude form is enough, low potency. Strong poisons like mercury, arsenic go high, only potentized doses, high potency. So dose is over, potency is over, repetition is also over. Never repeat the dose while symptoms persist. Again, importance of symptom order and aggravation modalities. It's very important. Symptom order is very important. Symptoms develop in sequences. Disrupting this with repeated doses is harmful. Consider the effect of position, motion, food, sleep, emotions and environment on symptoms. So these are the key objectives that we should note. Value of older provings. Hahnemann's provings were highly detailed, making them more reliable. Even one rare symptom, example Kali cups 3 am, that Sandosh, don't forget that example, Sandosh, it's very important, can be crucial for prescription. So what's the final goal of this chapter? A proving should reveal the living personality of a remedy, ensure it can be recognized in the sick and used effectively for cure. That's all about this chapter. Thank you for watching this and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you will be able to see more videos. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.